All right, joining me now is Bellator middleweight Gegard Mousasi, who's got a big fight coming up next week at Bellator 296. Gegard, how's it going, man? Where are we off to today?
Well, I'm going to my physio to correct my neck because I'm getting older. Things are not going that easily anymore. But yeah, I'm ready. The training camp is over. Just looking out for my weight and then travel to Paris.
Yeah, absolutely. Is fighting still fun? I know you're probably like you said, you might have some bumps and bruises over the years, but do you still enjoy it when you get up every day, or?
No, because it's more difficult nowadays. Sleep is not good. Injuries, soreness, more difficult days in training camp. Guys make it more difficult for me. So not really. Oh,
Yeah, no, I'm still here.
yeah.
So you got a big fight coming up next week. You said training camp went smooth. I guess just talk to me about what you think this opportunity is for you. We haven't seen you since your last fight. How have things been since then, and kind of what did you take away from it?
Well, dealing with injury, I think uh, waiting for a fight, trying to work on the injuries and get in shape again. Not much. It was dealing with my injury for a long time and then get ready for the fight.
Yeah, so you didn't expect to take a year off. You were kind of trying to heal. Is that basically?
Yeah, I was waiting for a fight, and then also dealing with the injuries. I mean, there was not much to do than wait and see what's the next step.
I guess what was your biggest takeaway from the Johnny Eblen fight? Was what went wrong? Did he do more? Was part of it? You did something wrong? Do you feel like? Do you feel like he just had a really good night? I guess kind of what was your assessment of what went down that evening?
I think he was better prepared. I think he was more hungry. I think if he had let me get into the fight and do my thing, it would have been a good night for me. But I think he was more hungry. He was better prepared. Uh, Training camp wasn't that great of mine. Weight cut was more difficult. Things he took it more serious. No excuses. I think he just was better that night. So I think, yeah, that was the problem.
Yeah. Was he better when you got in there than you expected? I mean, obviously you expected to win, so I'm assuming there was a little bit of a surprise element there. But in terms of his skills and talent, I mean, was that the guy that you were expecting, or was he on a bit of a different level than you anticipated?
I think he was, his style is nothing I haven't seen. I mean, he's a little bit like Chris Whiteman, takedowns, mix it up with stand up, it's nothing. But I think he came in southpaw. I think they had analyzed my fights. He came in hungry. I think his desire, I think his will to win was bigger. That's it.
Yeah. Is that a fight you're hoping to get again down the line, or?
Yeah, it's after this fight, probably title fight. That's the only fight that makes sense. And then, yeah, that's my goal. Beat Fabian and fight for the belt one more time because probably gonna be also my last chance to fight for the belt.
Yeah. So is that kind of the plan? Do you think it will be two more and done, or are you not necessarily putting sort of
Yeah,
that timeline on you?
probably those gonna be the last two fights, to be honest. But I'm never gonna say anything until the fight happens. But beat this guy and I go for the belt for one more time, and then that's gonna decide if I'm gonna retire or not.
And I know you had said, I think before you signed your last Bellator deal, that would probably be it. So is that are these the two fights that you have left? Is there just two left on your contract?
Well, I have four left, but I think after
Four.
these two, my contract will be done, and then maybe extension or not. I don't know. My manager have to deal with that.
For sure. And I guess what are you kind of expecting out of Fabian? He's a guy in this division that's had some good moments. We've seen him lose, we've seen him win. Where do you kind of gauge him and his skill set?
Nothing special, to be honest. I think he's a dangerous guy. If he connects, he's a southpaw. He has good left kick, good left hand. Uh, but he's not the he doesn't demolish people or Yeah, but he's dangerous if he connects. I mean, everyone is dangerous at this level. So nothing special, to be honest.
Was there any consideration after the last fight to try to move up to 205? I know that's something people have brought up with you quite a bit. Was that in your mind at all?
No, because I didn't do well at middleweight. Why would I do well at light heavyweight when the guys are bigger than me? So, not really.
Yeah. And I guess, you kind of mentioned it there, but you feel like this fight would align you for a title shot. Has Bellator said anything about that? Do they kind of view this as a title eliminator?
Yeah, I think so. I think Johnny Eblen is going to be there. He's a special guest there. So it's going to be, of course, whoever wins going to fight for the belt.
Yeah. Have you, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, have you fought in Paris before?
No, it's the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward.
Yeah, because MMA's only been legal for a little bit there. So do you like, as a guy that's kind of been around, had 50 plus, fights to kind of see somewhere new, or when you go to these countries and stuff, you don't really have the opportunity to really enjoy it?
No, I was there in Paris for promotional stuff, and it's back of the in my backyard. To be honest, I'm gonna drive there, so it's actually yeah, it's a relief that I'm fighting in Paris because it's actually good. A lot of friends can come and watch, friends, family. So it's the first time I can drive to the fight and drive back.
Nice. And did you watch Johnny's last fight against Tokov?
Yeah, I was actually there in LA. Yeah, he looked impressive. He did well. He looked hungry. The guy Tokov is a dangerous guy. He beat him pretty. He had a difficult first two rounds, but he came back and won decisively. So I think he showed a lot of heart.
There's a discussion right now, I think, where we look at Bellator, a lot of the media and fans, and they kind of see the champions right now. Maybe when you compare them to the UFC, it might be the first time in history that a lot of these champs in Bellator you would pick over the UFC guys. So where do you think Johnny stands up as a guy that's been in there with the best in the world in both the UFC and Bellator? Do you feel like there's a chance that he could be the best middleweight in the world right now?
He could be, I mean, from welterweight to lightweight, middleweight. Bellator has now the champions are really tough guys. They're almost all of them undefeated. They have really good talents, to be honest. We saw the guys that came from Strike Force to UFC. A lot of them also became champion. I mean, because by name recognition, a lot of times people don't see that there's also a lot of good fighters outside UFC, and that they could beat UFC fighters and champions.
And I know you just got to your place, so I'll ask you two more questions. But
no problem. Yeah.
Do you think that as a guy that made that switch, do you feel like the name recognition is very overrated in terms of the athletes' mindsets as well? Like, I mean, we asked you at the time when you jumped over, right? Like, why did you do it? What do you think of it? Now that you've been there a while, you've been able to cash some paychecks from Bellator. Like, as an athlete, I mean, how much would you encourage guys to maybe have that open mindset and not just be tied to one brand?
Well, I think if you fight in UFC, you have more name recognition. People, when you go to Bellator, it's a little bit less, of course. UFC, you're more in the picture, if you're a champion. And but other than that, the treatment in Bellator is a lot better. You get paid a lot more. So there's advantage and disadvantage. I mean, every organization has something that's more alluring for a different kind of fighter. For me, it was the right choice. And I think it's good for the fighters to have choices. If the UFC, it's like I said, you have to gamble on yourself to become champion. Then that's when you make a lot of money. If you're not, you make like 50,000, and if you win, you get 50,000. You have to gamble on yourself.
And you mentioned kind of your plans for the future for MMA, but combat sports as a whole, I mean, we see all sorts of guys do boxing now and grappling and whatever else is going on. So for you, is there anything else before all is said and done? Like, Gegard Mousasi wants to do this or accomplish this. Is there anything on that level for you?
No, I saw Luke Rockhold do bare knuckle fight. I mean, no, I don't look forward to those stuff.
What, you don't want to get your teeth knocked out?
No, no. I hear they pay very well, but without any gloves, you break your eye socket, you break your teeth, you break your nose. I mean, people don't have long careers in bare knuckle fights.
Yeah, I got you. Well, we're going to enjoy you for as long as we have you, man. I appreciate it, Gegard.
No
Best of
problem.
luck in the fight, and we'll be talking, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, my friend. Bye bye.